Katrina spoke about losing her roommate, and it obviously impacted her life. So Bianca, I'm going to turn this one to you because, and I'm sure all of us remember this, in August of 2011, 30 Americans, most of them Navy SEALs, it was tragic, were shot down in Afghanistan. You and your husband, I've been told, knew them personally.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My goodness. That had to have been devastating for not only him, for you, and obviously for all of us when we heard the news.
Yes, and that was, I would say, the hardest moment in the 20 years that my husband was in service. And like you mentioned, we knew them very well. My husband worked alongside them. And at that point, if there hadn't been some shifts in his career, he could have very well have been on that helicopter. So for him,
and you're getting so emotional. I can see it.
There are some things that I will get very emotional about, and that is one of them. I was a news anchor at the time. I stepped away from the news desk for a week because I knew that I could not say the names of the people we lost on that helicopter. And for about a month after, my husband would get on a plane, go to a hometown for a memorial one day, come home at the end of the day, and do it again the next day, over and over and over again. Oh my gosh. And at that point, they were all very good at going through their emotions and hiding their emotions and, you know, burying them deep down. But during that, it was so intense that I believe that is when he really started to feel as though alcohol could help him bury feelings even more. It was just too much. It was not just losing his friends, but it was when survivor's guilt really came into play for him.
And I got to also ask this question, and I'm going to actually ask you, Dr. Sutton, and Dr. Zinner, I'd love you to chime in too, because that story, everybody was impacted. The guilt, you just said it, your husband could have been there. The guilt of not being there, you know, the guilt of surviving. Dr. Sutton, your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. You know, in the intervening years now, going on 3 years since our departure from Afghanistan, easily the most disturbing impact on our veterans of all services who really, you know, lost their bodies, sacrificed their own health and well-being, worked side by side with translators to whom we had made commitments. The moral injury, and I think that's a very important piece of this. It's not the same as PTSD. The moral injury of just witnessing something that violates your sense of right and wrong, doing something, failing to do something. There's a lot that's tied up with that, but very, very powerful in a very difficult way, as Bianca clearly describes.
Thank you, Dr. Sutton.